Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our installment of Scott's Selections here for Tuesday, December 1st. For you in today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a nice, easy winner with the Monday night games. We had DK Metcalf, longest reception, over 28.5 yards, which was available on FanDuel at minus 113. Pretty easy. Cash in the second quarter, caught a 50-something yard pass, and then he ended up doing it again in the fourth quarter as he ended up having a 30-yard reception. But Slay couldn't guard him. I talked about it on the air. I talked about how the Eagles have not really faced a physical receiver like that besides Chase Claypool, who torched him earlier in the year. Metcalf was open all day, every day, and he ended up having a career high in yards, and they really had no answer. So it was a very easy win there. I know a lot of people got burned if you took Seattle minus 6.5 late in the week, as they ended up getting victimized by a very, very brutal backdoor cover there on an Eagles Hail Mary, followed by a 2-point conversion. First of all, just to be clear, I saw this on Twitter. I'm not going to go that far onto a tangent, but I think it is worth mentioning. The bad beat is the Hail Mary. The 2-point conversion decision by Peterson is 100% the right call, so that is not really a shocker. They went for 2. Getting it's a different story, but going for it is definitely not a surprise. If you're down 8, you go for 2 every time. And the reason why you do that is because if you get it, you're down 6 and you win with an extra point if you score another touchdown. Or if you miss it, then you're still down 8 and you can still tie the game with a 2-point conversion. So in other words, you need to get a 2-point conversion 1 out of 2 times in order for that scenario to work out. Or if you get it on the first try, then you simply kick the extra point. So that's the logic behind it. That made sense. The issue was the Hail Mary defense that led to the one-handed deflection catch by Richard Rodgers in the end zone, and that's kind of where the bad beat was. But once again, though, we ended up picking up a winner there. We avoided that at all costs. Before today's play of the day, we're going to be looking at college basketball. Now, at first glance, I was going to do one of the primetime matchups that's going to be coming up on the card. But instead, I'm going to save that for tomorrow because we're doing the joint show with Scott Steen, where we'll be covering some of the primetime matchups there for college basketball. So for today's play of the day, we're going to be going to a game that's a little bit under the radar. And for that reason, a lot of people haven't really been talking about it, but I do think there is some value here. It's going to be in a matchup between Central Michigan and Florida International. And we're going to be taking the total. We're going to be going with the over 158.5, which is available on DraftKings at minus 109. Time recording of 2:50 a.m. Eastern time. A couple reasons why I like the over in the spot. First of all, Florida International has played in 2 games so far this season. Both of them have been against Flagler State. If you've not heard about Flagler State, they're a D2 team, pretty high scoring, scored about 80 points per game last year. And Florida International had no answers defensively for them. They were able to win both games, but both games are very close, and they allowed at least 75 points in both games while also scoring at least 82. So Florida International has been playing a pretty high-scoring style of basketball so far this season, which should not come as a surprise to anybody because they are always ranked within the top 10 in pace, and this year is no different. Now, looking at Central Michigan, they've played in 1 game this season, and they ended up losing by 2 points, 74-72 to UIC. UIC ranks 180th in offensive tempo, so they are on a little bit of the slower side when it comes to their offensive execution. So I do think that you will see this game feature a lot more points because of the fact that Central Michigan will have a lot more possessions to work with. Both teams this season so far have been very, very fast-paced, as Florida International ranks 10th in offensive tempo according to KenPom rankings, and Central Michigan ranks 13th. So both teams love to play very quickly. They love to shoot very quickly. I expect a ton of transition opportunities, a ton of free throws, and you should see both halves potentially reach 80 points, if not more. For example, the second game you had in Florida International schedule with Flagler, the second half combined for 90-plus points. So Florida International is not afraid to get into these high-scoring affairs, what they're used to doing. And a large reason why is because of the fact that they love to full-court press. They press all the time, try to force turnovers, but most importantly, they foul a lot, which means that Central Michigan should be in the bonus with double-digit minutes left in each half. You should see them foul a lot as well because they ended up allowing UIC to shoot 25 free throws in the first game. So I do think both teams will live at the line. Now, both teams both teams have not been that efficient at the free throw is what I meant to say up to this point, but still very early, small sample size, and I do think you should see a little bit of correction there moving forward. But looking at Central Michigan, they also only scored 72 points in that opener, but they shot below 39% from the floor. So they really just couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, and they still reached 72. I think if both these teams can get into the 40s, even 42%, et cetera, the pace alone should get this game into the 160s. Florida International did lose 3 starters from last year's team, but they do bring back Antonio Day Jr., very solid guard. He's averaging a team-high 22.5 points per game while shooting 48.3% from the floor and 45.5% from 3. So he's going to be the main anchor of this offense, and he will be controlling most of the ball handling, where they also were able to bring in transfer in Rashad Davis from Texas Arlington, as he's averaging 21.5 points per game and 8.0 rebounds per game. So those two are pretty much a two-headed monster. I do think they'll do whatever they want to Central Michigan, and Central Michigan should be able to find a lot of opportunities to get to the foul line and to find some open shots once they break the press that International loves to run. Plus, it is worth mentioning that Central Michigan is 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games overall, so they do like to play a fast-paced game. I do think this total will climb. I think this total will end up closing somewhere around 162, maybe a little bit higher. But based on the pace of play that both teams love to play at, I think 158.5 is way too low, especially as International's defense has gotten torched by a D2 team twice so far this season. So I think Central Michigan get to 80. I think Florida International get to 80. Plus, if this game is close, as the spread indicates, as the spread is currently at -4 for Florida International, you should see a decent amount of scramble points led by garbage time free throws, which should also add a cherry on top if you are in danger of running a little bit behind schedule for points. So for that reason, the play of the day here for Tuesday, December 1st is going to be on Central Michigan and Florida International over 158.5, which is available on DraftKings -109. That's been Thomas Scott Selections. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.